What's going on, Facebook? Mustard Seed Man. I hope you guys ready for another blessed day. Hope you guys have the understanding that you can conquer the day, man. Early morning gym session. Well, not early morning, man. It's about 9. But still, I had to do some things in the morning, but I got to get up, get out, and go get it. Remember, you have that ability as well to conquer each and every single day the Lord puts before you. If you have breath in your lungs, you have a purpose on your life. You have to remember that, man. Things have been, man, the beginning of this year has been so awesome what the Lord's been doing, man. The doors He's been opening, the people He's been bringing forth. Like, it's just amazing, man. Matter of fact, I was getting in the Word right now because we had an amazing fellowship yesterday, Thursday night men's study group. If you're not involved, get involved, man, because the Lord is moving significantly in the healing that's taking place and, the miracles that are happening within it. Like, I can't even explain. I love for you to come check it out, though. But I was in the book of Matthew today, and this is going to really relate to what I'm talking about. And, Matthew was one of the disciples, and his calling was very significant, and I want to get into it. It's the book of No, I'm actually in the book of Luke right now. My bad. The book of Luke, chapter 5. I'm going to start off at 27. After this, Jesus went out and saw a tax collector named Levi sitting at the tax office, and he said to him, "Follow me." So leaving everything behind, he got up and began to follow him. And I want to pause there for a second because Levi, Jesus just strolling through, man. He sees a tax collector, and if anyone knows anything about the tax collectors at this time, they out robbing from the rich, robbing from the poor. They're not like Robin Hood because they're not giving back to the poor. They're robbing from the rich, they're robbing from the poor, and they're putting it in their pocket. So Jesus sees him, walks over, and just plain simply says, "Follow me. Follow me." At that point, any tax collector has to be like, "What is this dude talking about?" Like, man, but no. It says Matthew, where is it? It says, so leaving everything behind. He just left everything behind. So leaving everything behind, he got up and began to follow him. That is so amazing, man. Like literally to us, sometimes Jesus is the last resource. Like, he's our last option to some people. And I've been there, man. I understand it. But in reality, he's the only option. We just can't see it at times. But Matthew must have had some discernment that when Jesus came and said, "Follow me," he got up and started following. He left everything behind and said, "Okay." And I find that to be amazing. So I want to get into this next part. Then the Levi hosted a grand banquet for him at his house. Now there were a large crowd of tax collectors and others who were guests with him. But the Pharisees and their scribes were complaining to his disciples, "Why do you eat and drink with tax collectors and sinners?" I'm going to stop right there because there's a vital point to be made. First, Jesus is walking. He sees this tax collector. And like I say, at this point, like, tax collectors are the lowest of the low because they just stealing from everyone, man. When they collect your money, they were putting some for the taxes and then keeping some for themselves. But Jesus walks by this guy and says, "Follow me." He says, "Follow me." And this guy just leaves everything behind. Everything behind. Think about that. All the money he made that day, everything, he just left it behind and started to follow. And then immediately after that, he wants to throw a party. He's like, "I want to throw a party for you. You just saved me. You just rescued me. You just had me leave this life of sin. So I want to throw a party for you." Now, Matthew don't have the righteous group of friends at this point. He just has other tax collectors. And I could imagine him calling them all up like, I'm gonna throw a party. They know he has money because he's been robbing the rich, robbing the poor. So they know it's gonna be a pretty good banquet, pretty good feast. So they're like, yeah, we'll show up. All these other tax collectors, sinners, and of course the religious folks on the outside looking in, they're like, man, why does Jesus eat with those guys? Why does Jesus eat with those guys? And then we're going to have some naysayers in here. We're going to have some people that have big churches and have this and that, and they're going to see what you're doing. But the first thing Matthew wanted to do after he was saved, after he was rescued, was bring the ones that were close to him. Because Jesus had something for them too. Jesus had something for them too. Matthew knew that if Jesus did it for him, he could do it for them too. And that's what we need to start gathering up. Our loved ones, our friends, gather them up. Bring them to the foot of the cross. Because Jesus has something for them too. Jesus has something for them too. And that's what I learned, man. This past Thursday, like I said, the Bible study was so powerful, man. So powerful. I had a brother reach out at the beginning of this year who was hurting, who was looking for his last option, who was looking for his last resource. True, he believed in God throughout his life. True, he prayed to God, and I've been there. I prayed to a God that I didn't know, but he needed rescuing. He has a lot of pieces of the puzzle, but they're not coming together. So he wanted to reach out. The Lord put it on his heart to reach out. And like I said, sometimes our last resource should be our first. But we don't get it. I was there. And then during Bible study, we were talking about being born again. We were talking in the book of John chapter 3. And he came across a verse that he knew. He came across a verse, was John 3:16. For God so loved the world. And when coming across this verse, he recognized it. And he recognized a lot of pieces of the Bible. He recognizes a lot of stories of the Bible, but he has questions. And it's not bad to have questions. We all have questions. But one of the most amazing things that happened is he was willing to surrender. Willing to surrender and take Jesus in. Before the Bible study even happened, it was just me, Pastor, and him, and we were talking. And, he told Pastor one of the things about, yeah, well, Nick, I remember Nick from the neighborhood and this and that. And, and we were talking about and Pastor's just looking at me like, really, really? And we all have a past. We do. We all have a past. I tell people, like, without a tattoo on me, I was neck deep. I was deeper than I ever want. You see, sin is a slippery slope. It takes you further and further and further down the more you play with it. And I was that far down. Now when others see me, now when friends see me, now when old acquaintances see me, they realize Jesus did something for me. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to throw a big party with all these people that fell down that slippery slope, that got in neck deep, that don't have any other resources. They're tired. They're tired. And they're looking for one last option. I'm trying to throw a party with all them at one time. And I want Jesus to be there because I know if he did it for me, he can do it for them. And I'm not saying he'll do it the same way. I'm not saying he'll do it in the same time frame. But I'm saying he will. He will get it done. He will do it when you accept him as Lord and Savior. He will. We're talking about the same Jesus that healed 3 different blind men 3 different ways. There's no limits on what he can and cannot do. And that's how we all should be at this point of our walk. We need to reach out to a loved one, reach out for one that we care, and let them know how good Jesus is, how faithful he's been. Because the second coming is going to be bittersweet. It's going to be sweet for the believer. It's going to be sweet for the one that has the relationship. But it's going to be bitter. Because there's a lot of loved ones who we haven't reached at this point of our walk. So let's get out there, man. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a blessed day. And, man, if you know Jesus, let's throw a party, man. Let's throw a party and let's invite all our old acquaintances. Let's invite all our old family, all our old friends, all our old enemies. Say, come on in. Come on in. I got some food. I got some grub. But you know what? I got a spiritual healing that you need to feel. So I love y'all.